Hi boys and girls, it's Shane. I managed to survive our blizzard. Now we're going to get back to working on the dragon statue. First off, I got to get rid of this old support. It would have looked more like one of those. It's got to go out of the way so it can be replaced with a frickin' dragon. So these pieces here, if you look, you may be able to see there's a little gap there. Those don't actually go through the house. These aren't really supporting anything. These are just for looks. Also, this piece here doesn't go through. You can see how it's cut around the trim. That's also not supportive in any way, form, or fashion. So none of this is structural, and all of it can just go away. I think those are the only nails holding all this up actually right now. Maybe those on that side. Ooh, that's gonna fall in a second, isn't it? This is my favorite part when I'm doing something like this. Come on. Here we go. Favorite part, doing stuff like this, is the very end. Woo! There it goes. So now I get to examine the area that we're going to want the support to come up to. So outside of the dragon, which will provide some structural support if needed, there's going to be a 6x6 that's going to hit right to there and go all the way down to that concrete we poured. So we need to figure this out next. So this is where the dragon support is going, right here. This is where it connects to the house. And you can see there's a bigger gap up at the top than at the bottom. That's because when this support was removed, this whole area sank downward, and I'm going to have to lift it back upward to close this gap and keep everything nice and true. So we're going to use a jack for this. This is really not a major thing. It seems like a scary thing to have to jack up a part of a house, but it cost me $100 for an 8-foot jack over at the Home Depot, and we'll be able to make quick work of this. So inside the box we got these top and bottom plates and these two pieces and just some bolts. And these are just hollow tubes of metal. I'm not going to be able to use both hands to film and put this together, but this is the jack mechanism itself. I'll be able to put a wrench on this, and as it turns, it's going to put upward pressure. I've already got the pole made to about the right length, so I'm going to brace it at the bottom on the metal plate, and I'm going to set this up at the top with the metal plate, and then we'll thread it and it will expand and it's going to push that upward. Apologize for the bad camera work. I probably need to get one of those hands-free things. So this is where the existing support is. You can see the little bit of a gap that's there. That's just from the angle that things were cut at. As we turn this, our gap should increase as we go, and that's because this is pushing upward as it rotates. I can see light all the way through now. I don't know if you can look and see as we're making that gap open. Here in a little bit we're going to go check the gap in the wall, and you'll hear the creaking of the boards as we work like this. Let's see if I can get you the right angle to where you can see. See there? Daylight all the way through. So we've raised this probably 1/8 of an inch. Maybe a little bit more than 1/8 of an inch. As we keep turning, that gap's going to keep getting bigger. And I don't mind going a little over on this. It'll give me more room to fit our pillar in, and then we can lower the jack and let the pillar carry the weight. I feel like that may be good enough. Let's go take a look. I still think it needs to close up a little bit more at the top here. So I think I'm going to jack it up just a little more before we're done. Now we'll finish it off with the reciprocating. So now I got to straighten this out and get it in a position by myself. That's mostly just going to involve me hitting it with a hammer. Now I've got it more or less straight and where it goes, I need to put a metal plate on the bottom. So I'm going to mark where this goes, and then we're going to put the metal plate down and screw it in place. All right, we're right on the bubble. And right on the bubble there too. Maybe just a tad bit off. I'll tap it a little bit more. This we're going to screw into place next. Now let's tie this Simpson strong tie bracket that costs way too much because they have a monopoly. Anyway, yeah. Antitrust, why aren't you guys going after this? We need more companies making galvanized steel plates besides just Simpson. So now that we got this main support in place, we can get rid of all these temporary ones I had to put in after the car crash. Since we jacked it up, everything's really loose, so it should be very easy. And next, we'll take the wrench and lower the pressure on the roof to drop it all down so that this is the only thing carrying the weight. And if you're confident in what you're doing, you can climb up the ladder that's leaning against the thing that you're about to remove the support from. That always feels safe, right? Sometimes we do things that don't make us comfortable. Sometimes we need to be uncomfortable. I think sometimes we overvalue comfort. I think there are many times where our lives would be better if we would let ourselves be uncomfortable for a little while. But for some reason, comfort just feels like the kind of thing we need to look for in life. We need to be comfortable. We need to have a comfy chair. We need our favorite comfortable TV show to always be on the air. We need our favorite sports team to win whatever big game it's playing in. How many of us like to read stories of adventure where we hear about Frodo barely able to carry the ring into Mordor and all the struggles upon the way and think, wow, what a heroic adventure? Or even all the superhero movies. It's a lot of people Deadpool and Wolverine did not ever seem comfortable in their movie, and we like to watch all that. But for some reason, we don't choose to be very comfortable ourselves, do we? Does the pressure come off of it enough that I can turn it by hand? Yep. All right, now we can turn it by hand. There we go. And the only thing holding this up now is that support we just put in.